Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fan Interference with Wichita Wingnuts manager Pete Rose Jr. Fan Interference is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to pose your questions and comments to the Wichita Wingnuts manager. Those comments can be about baseball or sports in general, or just about whatever you'd like to talk about. Each week we will talk to Pete and have him answer questions and comments that you submit to us, so we look forward to seeing you all season long. So let's get right to Fan Interference. So we want to welcome manager Pete Rose Jr. Of the Wichita Wingnuts to our first opening week here of the season. And so, Pete, I first of all just want to give you the opportunity to talk to us about team updates going on with the Wingnuts.
We're a week into spring training, trying to get our legs underneath us, trying to get our pitchers to throw strikes, our hitters to make some kind of contact. But all is good. All is good here in Wichita. I mean, the group of guys that we have here, being here a week, I can't really speak on their baseball side of it yet. But I'll tell you what, if they're half as good as baseball players as they are young men, Wichita is going to be in for a very special summer just because, what a great group of kids that Josh has assembled here, and I get to go to work with them every morning, and it makes it not that it's ever hard to go to the ballpark, but this makes you want to go to the ballpark. That's what kind of kids we have here. So everybody's healthy, which is a good thing. I'll knock on wood. And like I said, we got one more exhibition game tomorrow, weather permitting, against the Gold Eyes of Winnipeg, and then we'll strap it on Thursday night. But I think we'll be ready to go on Thursday.
I'm curious to ask you, one of the things that the league allowed for this season was for a 23rd player if you wanted to do that. Is that a decision you haven't made yet, or are you looking at going with 23 guys?
Josh Robertson. First and probably the only thing that's why I'm here. I mean, I had a conversation the first time I've ever talked to him. I met him. We talked for about an hour and 45 minutes, and it was just a perfect fit. I mean, I guess I didn't realize what I was getting myself into with all the winning tradition and everything else. I couldn't even tell you that they had a team here, but after talking to him the first time, I knew if they were going to ask me to be their manager, it was a no-brainer for me. And I'm definitely glad I took the opportunity, just because not only to meet, Gary and Steve and Nate, our three great owners, but, everybody in the front office, but more so our kids, our players. I mean, I wouldn't have a chance to be around these guys on a daily basis. So, my hat's off to Josh for giving me the opportunity, but, he sold it. It wasn't basically selling a baseball team. We just clicked. I felt like I've known him forever. He felt like he knew me forever, and I'm glad I made a decision. It's a great town. People have been great. I've been here for maybe 2 weeks. I think I was here on the 2nd, but just really looking forward to the opportunity. But like I said, looking forward to spending the summer here in Wichita, getting to know the people, but more importantly, getting a chance to be around our kids on a daily basis.
When you're building the team itself, what kind of players or what kind of things are you looking for in players to build that team around? And is it difficult for you to start recruiting players as a first-year manager?
I wouldn't say it's difficult, as, I played for a long time, so I know a lot of people. But, I mean, the players I'm just looking for baseball players. I mean, I'm looking for guys that go out and just play the game the right way and play hard, and they like to, come to the ballpark early and have fun. You don't have to be a special build or a special tool, or you don't have to be a tools guy. We play baseball, so I want a baseball player. I want a guy that knows how to play the game, that can, he knows what he's doing at the plate. He knows how to make the routine plays. If pitchers get out, they don't worry about velocities or, breaking balls. It's, if you keep it simple, I think, all the winning and everything else kind of comes in by itself, and it kind of all fit in. But, I'm just looking for baseball players. I'm looking for guys that want to come out and work hard and learn the game and live the game and play the game, and more importantly, just have fun. And I think that we've got that with our guys here. I mean, we have a veteran-ridden position player team, to where most of our position players are veterans. But you see them come out at 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and you see them work, and it's like, are you sure you guys aren't rookies? Just because of all the energy and everything else. So, like I said, I think we're going to be okay. But that's what I'm looking for. Well, I manage the baseball team. It'd be stupid for me to look for a guy that, that has all these tools but doesn't really know how to play baseball. So I look for baseball players.
Kind of working off what you were just talking there, I know that Kevin Hooper, who was the manager before you, had talked to me quite a bit about how people love to come to Wichita to play. Are you finding that there's still that same kind of attitude?
Absolutely, and that's a credit to Steve, Gary, and Nate, our three owners, and Josh. I mean, these kids are taken care of, with meals and really really nice bus. Clubhouse is great. I mean, the field, Lawrence Dumont's a nice old stadium. They got all turf, but yes, I mean, since I've been here, you can tell, just getting calls, from players that, hey, I want to come play in Wichita. I want to come play in Wichita. And you know what? That's a great thing to have, because it kind of sells itself to where you don't really have to go out and explain to everybody what you're coming here for. But, I think that by me being here, just like, Hoop was here, I think a lot of people came because of Hoop. And, hopefully a lot of people come here that, want to play for me. And like I said, I'm not a big rules guy. I'm just, be on time and play the game the right way. And, that's really all I ask about, from all my players. And when we do that, we're going to be okay. But I think this place here will sell itself. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to have a shortage of players that want to come here and play in Wichita.
When you're first hired by the team, what are the things that you say to the new players, that you're introducing yourself?
Just, I really couldn't tell you. I just, hey, how you doing? I'm Pete Rose, Jr. Nice to meet you. I mean, just, it's, and I'm sure, by me and you doing this, you'll find it a lot. Baseball is just baseball, so I'm just myself. It's more about people than anything else, and you just go and you use your people skills and you introduce yourself and you start up a conversation, and you kind of go from there. But I got the team together, and like I just told you, we're going to be on time and we're going to play the game the right way, and we're going to play for each other, and that's it. And you know what? We just kind of went from there, and everything's just kind of falling into place for us.
That's an interesting approach, and do you think that's part of what makes you a good manager and a good fit in Wichita?
I'd say I would like to say yes, but on the other hand, people got to remember, I don't do anything. I don't swing the bat. I don't field a ground ball. I don't throw a pitch. I write their names in the lineup, and these guys go out and it's all them. So, I would like to think yes. But on the other hand, the credit goes to all the players. I mean, they're the one that's putting in the hard work. Like I said, I told somebody, I'm just going to try to stay out of the way. That's all. I'm going to let these kids play and go have fun. And, I may put an occasional hit and run on or something. I don't know if I'm going to bunt very much. That's just really not my style. But, we're just going to go out and play hard and have fun. But, I think this is going to work out great. And, from the start of things, and I'm not sitting here talking about winning this and winning that. Like I said, we're going to be on time, and we're going to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. That 14 would be happy at my teams, and in the past, 14 has always been happy at my teams, the way they play, the way they carry themselves, the way they play for one another, and, it just kind of all mixes into one.
How do you think your managing style has changed from when you took over for the White Sox High A team to where you're at now?
Not much at all, if any. I mean, listen, I'm not a big X's and O's guy. I don't have a lot of plays. I use my eyes, and like I tell my players, like I tell my son, like I tell my son's team, if you pay attention, the game will tell you what to do as far as where you need to hit it, where you need to throw it, where you need to run. So I would say really nothing. I mean, to be honest with you, because I'm the same guy as I was in 2014. I guess we can ask Springer. Christian Springer is he's played for me for 2 years. He's our second baseman. I guess we can ask him, maybe afterwards, after the season if I change. But, I don't really think I've changed at all, if any, just because, I'm just going to go out and be me. And that's all I've ever done, when I was with the White Sox. And obviously you don't have organizational stuff that you don't have to do anymore. I'm not a big infield guy. I think if you take batting practice the right way, you don't have to take infield. So I don't see us taking a lot of infield. But I don't think it really changed at all, to be honest with you.
You were talking earlier about how when you talked with Josh, you didn't realize what a big winning tradition that Wichita had. So tell me, as you come into this team, and they do have such a long history of winning, even though they've been around only for about 8 years, how do you keep that winning tradition alive?
I think you let them go out and play. And I think, you like I said, you try to stay out of the way. And, listen, I've already tried to fill somebody's shoes before, and that didn't work out too well for me. So I'm not in the business of trying to fill shoes and trying to be anybody. Like I said, I'm just going to come in and be myself, and, whatever happens, happens. But like I said, we'll be on time and we'll play hard. And I think if you do those things, or when you do those two things, I think with the group that we have, I think, the win will kind of, it'll kind of just kind of fall into place. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But like I said, we're I'm not sitting here promising anything, but I'll definitely give you 2 musts. We'll be on time and we'll play hard. And that's, once we do those two things, we'll be fine. But like I said, Hoop was a good man. He had a great run, a great baseball man, even better guy off the field. And, somebody had asked me, am I going to fill his? Nah, you know what? I would be, I don't think I would even try to bark up that tree. As like I said, I've tried to fill somebody else's shoes, and those were a lot bigger than Hoop's. No offense to Hoop, but I mean, when the guy that you're trying to fill has the most hits in baseball, it's probably not a good idea. So I'm just going to stick to being Pete.
That's great. So let me ask you, as you head into your first season in the American Association, who do you see as your biggest rival within the league itself, and what have you learned about the league so far?
I mean, obviously, it's a good league. I played here when it was the Northern League, so I know some of the towns. Rival, we're not in college, so I don't really think there's a rival. I think really the only rivalries are Giants, Dodgers, and Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, Reds, Pirates, Reds, Cardinals. I mean, just like you said, we've only been in the league for 8 years, so I don't really think there's a big rivalry to where, we're not going to look at any game as being a bigger one because we're playing Joplin or we're playing Lincoln or we're playing Grand Prairie or whoever it is. So I don't know. I don't really think we have one. We're just going to go out and play each game like we do, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, I don't think that there's. At least for me, there might be some, maybe some guys that played on some different teams that they may look, ahead or something like that. But it's a good league. It's older guys, younger guys. It's a good mix. And like I said, I played here before. I played in Winnipeg. I played in Lincoln. So kind of familiar with a couple places. But I don't know. Maybe ask me after the season. Maybe I'll have a rival after there. But I would probably say, nah, we're just going to go out and see what happens. We'll just play each game like it's the next one, and we'll go from there.
Now, you've spent pretty much your entire life around baseball, so how do you think baseball has changed in your eyes during that time?
Sabermetrics, and sabermetrics. I'm not an information guy. Listen, sabermetrics might be great, but if a guy didn't get a good night's sleep and the human element is kind of thrown out, I think, if you don't have the human element into your sabermetrics, I don't really think it's worth anything because we're human beings and we play the games. I mean, if we're computers and we're robots that play, okay, bring them all on. I think that's really the way it's changed. I mean, you just have so much information to where, I was taught to play the game and learn the game with my eyes, not with, a stat pack or a spray chart or a hitting chart or any of that other stuff. You know what I mean? I think if you watch the pitcher, he's going to tell you what he's throwing. I think if you're a defender, you watch the hitter, you watch what his swings are doing, you kind of tell what's going on from there. And, I think that's the biggest change from when I started playing. And I'm kind of glad I'm not playing in this era because I think I would be flooded to where my brain would maybe shut down just because of all the information that you have. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just people that have, I don't want to say nothing better to do, but just to have a stat on this, that. Well, mind you, maybe he's got, maybe he's hurt, maybe he slept bad, maybe he had a bad meal, maybe he's got a problem at home, maybe something's going on with his family. I mean, just little things like that just somehow, some way just never get factored in. I think that, because it's a game and human beings being players, they play it. I think that kind of has changed everything to where I'm not a big, and I'm sure if you ask anybody that's been around me, I'm just, use your eyes and play the game. I'm not a big information guy.
You mentioned earlier about the challenge of growing up with your name being Rose. So tell me a little bit about how difficult or how challenging that is when his name is as synonymous with baseball as anybody else's.
And I tell you, just like I tell everybody else, and don't take it any way, but it's people that ask me that question don't realize that, you know what, we put our pants on one leg at a time, we put one shoe on a time, we eat dinner together, we wake up in the morning, we brush our teeth. We're just as normal as the Johnsons, the Richardsons, the Smiths. The only difference is my dad's got more hits than anybody else's dad. That's the only difference. And I understand the question, and don't get me wrong, I'll talk about my dad all day long because I love him to death. He's my idol. I grew up watching him. I grew up trying to be like him. But, you know, we're just a normal family. And you know what? I was lucky enough to be around one of the greatest that ever played the game, and he was my dad. And, you know, it was tough playing because you got, you know, the Thirsty Thursday crowd that's going to bury you, say something derogatory towards your family, you know, all that kind of stuff kind of comes with the territory. But, you know, we were normal. I mean, you know, everybody knew me as Pete or Petey or Junior. I wasn't Pete Rose Jr. You know, the only difference is, you know, my next door neighbor's dad was a lawyer. My dad went to the ballpark every night, and that was his job, and he got the winters off. So I get the question, but, you know, we were normal. I mean, we just, you know, I had a great upbringing, and we ate dinner together. We you know, he took me to practice, picked me up from practice. We watched movies, we eat popcorn, you know, all that good stuff. But, you know, like I said, he's just got more hits than everybody else's dad. So I guess I can use that one as my Trump line, so to speak. Not that I ever will, but if I have to, I can use it.
That's awesome. Our last question for you this week, I just want to ask, a lot of times we will get questions from young boys who are learning to play the sport better, or mom or dads who want to improve their son's skills. So I wanted to ask you, what are some things that you would suggest to a boy who wants to play baseball that can improve their skills or toughen themselves mentally?
Well, be aggressive, be more aggressive, and never be satisfied. Now, I'll tell that to everybody, but that goes more for an advanced player. But, you know, I'll tell you, for young players and for old players, you just got to realize, the game is set up for you to fail. So, you know what? You're going to strike out. You're going to make errors. And you're going to give up runs. You're going to give up home runs. You're going to be up with the bases loaded. You're going to lose the game. You're going to have a ground ball, and you're going to miss it, and you're going to lose the game. And that's okay, because you're not the first, and you're definitely not going to be the last. And I think at a younger age, when you can understand that, and you just go out and you just be yourself, but more importantly, you can have fun, because I think that's what baseball is about. That's why I fell in love with it, with the exception of wanting to be next to my dad at all times. It's fun, and I think when you start worrying about striking out, or you start worrying about you know, not making an error, or not, you know, or walking somebody, you know, it takes the fun out of it. And I think, especially little kids, it's about development. It's, you know, it's not about being the star and being the shortstop and this and that. Listen, I want you to be the star at 18. I don't really care if my son's 11, and I just want him to have fun and play hard. That's really all I want him to do. And those three things that I told you, he does those, but he understands. Listen, if you're not on time, and if you walk to first, or if you come off the field slow, we may have a discussion about it. But you know what? If you're on time and you play hard and you strike out 4 times, I'm going to be proud of you, just like you got 4 for 4. You drove in a game-winning run and everything else. So, you know, especially for little guys, I just think if they keep it fun and they understand that, you know what, it's okay to make an out. It's okay to strike out. It's okay to, you know, make an error or walk somebody or give up a home run, because you know what, everybody does. And if you play long enough, you're going to do that more times, you know, let's say 7 more times than you're going to succeed. Well, at least the great ones will. So, you know, I think if they understand that at an early age, I think, you know, they'll be okay.
That's awesome advice, Pete. I want to thank you for joining us this week.
Hey, anytime. My pleasure. Looking forward to next week.
We want to thank Manager Pete Rose for joining us on Fan Interference this week. If you would like to submit your own questions or comments to Pete, please send them to us at askpete@minorleaguesportsupport.com. That's askpete@minorleaguesportsupport.com. Please have your questions to us by Sunday evening so we can give Pete a little time to review them before we record the show on Monday. I want to thank you for joining us in this first week program, and we look forward to seeing you all season long on Fan Interference.